Thank God it's Friday, and with this same light spirit, I'd like to welcome you to Inside Nigeria, your favorite newspaper review show. My name is Tion Joseph, your regular host. I'll jump straight to the first newspaper with me here. We have Friday publication from Leadership newspaper, and the head stories say ahead of 2023 elections, security agencies put governors, politicians on watch list. You can find details on the story on page 4. Heading down there, the first bullet says NSA warns against using thugs to disrupt opposition's campaigns. Says elections will hold as planned next year. That is the report we have on the front page of Leadership newspaper this morning. You can always hop onto our website www.leadership.ng to find more stories. You can also grab a copy for yourself by the nearest newspaper stand by you. We now take a look at this day. And on this day, the lead story says 2023 polls. The people's will must prevail, says the National Security Advisor. Allays concerns declares elections will take place, says governors attacking opposition suffering from inferiority complex. Promises security agencies will come after political thugs. No government will be allowed to stop opposition rallies, IG vows. That is the report we have from this day. Let's take a look at the Punch quickly. On the Punch, the list story says federal allocations. Oil producing states for 1.3 trillion naira amid 6.4 trillion naira windfall. Pandef orders ask Niger Delta governors to showcase development projects. Oil producing states received 1.9 trillion naira as derivation fund under Buhari, says minister. 13% derivation includes DES PADAC funds, money judiciously spent, says Delta. That is the report we have on the Punch. Now we take a look at the Nation. The list story on the Nation this morning says federal government will support states with 5.03 trillion naira in 7 years. Nigeria not broke, not defaulting in debt repayment. We are trying to reduce poverty, says states. Now we conclude the first part of the show with Vanguard. On the Vanguard this morning, the list says governors kick as Buhari accuses them of stealing local government funds. Oton not stealing local government funds, Benue replies FJ. Buhari's accusation not apply to us, Kwara, Rivers, Ebonyi governments. We don't tamper with local government funds, Ogun government. Plateau treats LGs fairly, gives them free hand to operate. This is a report from the government. That is what we have on the front page of the Vanguard this morning. And that concludes the first part of the show. We crave your indulgence to stay tuned for the second part of the show. I'll be back your way again 10 a.m. on Monday morning. Do have a great weekend.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Inside Nigeria, keeping you informed on what matters. Inside Nigeria, keeping you informed on what matters.
Good morning. Welcome to the last edition for the week of December 2nd, 2022. Thank God it's Friday. This is Inside Nigeria, reaching you on Leadership Television. My name is Winifred Bebo, and with me in the studio is a public affairs analyst, Sheriff Dean Abiola Asamu. It's a pleasure to have you.
It's a pleasure having me once again. Good
Thank
morning.
you so much once again. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, without wasting much time, we are going to be reviewing and discussing some headline stories we have on our menu today. Incidentally, we have Nigeria's most influential newspaper, Leadership. We have Nation THISDAY newspaper, Vanguard, and The Punch. We are going to be starting with Leadership, as we normally do on the program. Leadership's cover stories today, Friday, Leadership Friday, December 2nd, 2022 says, ahead of 2023 elections, security agencies put governors, politicians on watch list. Ahead of 2023 elections, security agencies put governors, politicians on watch list. The story is on page 4 of the paper. For more news stories, you can either log on to the website or get a hard copy of the paper. The writer says NSA warns against using thugs to disrupt opposition's campaigns. NSA warns against using thugs to disrupt opposition's campaigns, says elections we hold as planned next year. This is the latest story on leadership. And incidentally, this day also has similar story on the cover story of leadership. Let's see what this day is saying on the issue. This day, 2023 polls, the people's will must prevail, says National Security Advisor. 2023 polls, the people's will must prevail, says National Security Advisor. Allays concerns, declares election will take place, says governors attacking opposition suffering from inferiority complex. Promises security agencies will come after political thugs. No governor will be allowed to stop opposition rallies, IG vows. This is the headline story on this day. It's almost similar to what Leadership newspaper is leading with today.
All right. So it's a wonderful caption, and it is expected because we are at the time of transition.
Yes, and we are seeing election violence taking place, like the murder of Labour Party's women leader in Kaduna State.
This is what will be trending at this moment because you see the campaign has started everywhere, and then everybody is trying to showcase what he has, and they have their groups, their fans, their parties. They are all making arrangement to see that each party, their party, the respective party, take the lead at the end of the day. You see, the thugs, all this, the NSA is right by putting most of these governors into watch list because they have the money, they have the capacity with them. Some of them they have stored the money, in their various houses or whatever, and then they have all their fans around them. They can incite. So, and most of them, really due to inferiority complex, or they know that people are tired of them, and they want to insist in continuing or making someone that will replace them. So in that case, they want to get the power at all costs, whether being re-elected or putting someone that they trust that will cover all the atrocities. So what do you expect? You see counter accusation. You see people using thugs to disrupt it. It's happening everywhere. The campaign grounds are not safe anymore.
But many people are of the opinion that the security or the security agency is not just to talk tough. They should be seen to be actually taking action on this activity. Like I just mentioned, that the death of the LP Labour Party's women leader. What is security agencies? What are they doing about it?
It's unfortunate.
And no statement has been made on it regarding the issue.
It's unfortunate that this thing is happening, especially when we lose people of eminence in our society, people of such importance, and the security agency, they are not doing anything. Maybe it has been a normal norm that anybody dies, he or she dies, and that's all, and it ends there. The security of the country, the government is has all the architecture, all the machineries to make sure that justice is being done and ensure that whoever that has perpetrated that evil should be brought to book. They have it. So there's nothing we can do except they wake up from slumber as security number one of the land, and ensure that in no distant time they get to the root and ensure that whoever that has committed that is being punished for that.
Yes, and leadership says, leading story says, putting governors on watch list. But considering the enormous resources these governors hold, they can actually buy themselves or wriggle themselves out of the watch list. Don't you think so?
Yes, we all know that this country today, the governors are most powerful.
Yes, they are.
The governors are most powerful. At the time when maybe in the previous dispensation, you have when Amici was the governor, there was this exactly. So they are becoming powerful and they can decide. You can see it's in some parties, it's them becoming the leadership of their party. So they are powerful, they have the money and they have everything and all of that. Most of these governors, the money they are supposed to ordinarily use for the masses, they know how they share it amongst themselves. And that is why they will not allow the grassroots government, local government to work. You get it now. So being at that, they have to influence. Like I mentioned the last time, they have to influence every decision, everything they have. They have to ensure that this thing, goes, in line in their own direction.
Now, these days, last rider on the makeover says no governor will be allowed to stop opposition rallies. IG Inspector General vows. But we've been seeing cases. Is the Inspector General not aware of what's been happening? And we see that in some of these states, oppositions are given some certain amount to pay before they can even mount their billboards and even use of maybe schools or any venue for that matter. Yet the IG is vowing that no government will be allowed to stop opposition rallies. But most of these governors are stopping opposition rallies. Or is the IG Inspector General Police not aware?
I think this is unfortunate in the country.
And what does he even intend to do about it?
Yeah, practically, I don't think he has anything to do, because the APC-led governments, they are in power. We expect much from them, at least to ensure there is fairness. They are just a backing dog.
Then in some states that PDP is also holding sway, we also see the same similar situation. Because even in Rivers State, the opposition parties were asked to make some deposit before you can make use of some venues, especially school, and they even mount your billboards.
I don't know the problem that we have in this country, that we cannot control ourselves. Is it as a result of poor education or what? We are a bit exposed. We see social handles and all of that. Social media and all of that. People are well informed. So I don't know why at this stage of our life in this country, that we have over 20 years into democracy, now we are still battling with the way governors are doing. It's like the governors, the people have given them, much more power. And people are more than they are more than the governors. It's like maybe as a result of economic problem, financial problem, and all of that, that people have subdued themselves to the hands of few people. Ordinarily, the people should be able to call them to attention, to call them to order. But not the vice is the case. So, like what is happening in all the states, it happened in Osun State. When Adeleke and
Oyetola just handed them so many.
Do you get it now?
So many.
They frustrated the last campaign of the last rally of Adeleke. So got so good, he came to power. So why are they doing that? If they are equal to tax, if they really mean well for the people, why not throw it up? Why not allow people? Because in Nigerian constitution, you give everybody equal opportunity, equal right. To showcase what they have. And this property like stadiums and what have you, it belongs to people. It belongs to the government. So why would they now use, and they should remember that tomorrow they will not be there. So whatever action they take now, it will be used against them
in the future. Okay, from leadership and these days leading stories, we move into the next paper we have on our menu, and that is The Nation. What is the nation saying this morning? Federal government says we supported states with 5.03 trillion naira in 7 years. Federal government, we supported states with 5.03 trillion naira in 7 years. Nigeria not broke, not defaulting in debt payment. We are trying to reduce poverty, say states. Nigeria not broke, not defaulting in debt payment. That is the Minister of Finance. That's what she said yesterday. And federal government says they have supported states with 5.03 trillion naira in 7 years. Meanwhile, let's see what Vanguard has to say about this. Vanguard also has similar story. Governors kick as Buhari accuses them of stealing local government funds. Governors kick as Buhari accuses them of stealing local government funds. Autumn not stealing local government funds. Benue replies federal government. Buhari's accusation does not apply to us, Kwara, Rivers, Ebonyi government. We don't tamper with local government funds, Ogun government. Plateau treats local governments fairly, gives them free hand to operate, says government.
Very interesting story.
Yeah. Buhari says they have over 7 years, they have allotted about 5.03 trillion naira to state governments in 7 years.
You know, the common factor to every governor in this country is looting the treasury.
Yes.
They have the way of doing that.
But why state governors are opposing local government autonomy? Why are they against it?
You know, that's what I say. You know, when we start, criticizing the federal government.
Of course, the reasons are obvious, but why don't they want to allow local government to have a free reign over their finances?
They won't allow the local government, to stay on their own because most of the governors, it is the fund that's ordinarily supposed to be used for local government, for local development that they use, for their own goods, for their own uses. You get it now. So you can see some of the governors that try to ensure that they have local governments in there, maybe as caretaker. In fact, some states, you hardly even see any local government working. So we begin to, ask, what are they doing?
At the time, I think, was it first year during this administration, before Buhari did come, the president came up with executive order granting local government exactly to pay directly. So we are still not seeing the manifestation, the realizability on ground. What is happening?
It starts. The federal government cannot do it alone. That's why we have National Assembly. Now, in the National Assembly, they passed so many bills. Have they really passed the bill? Like PIB bill, which is now what you call it, PIA. Now, if they are serious, if the National Assembly is serious, if the federal government is serious, they can work together. You get it now, and make it work. It's all about paying a list.
But is this 3 tiers of government? It's actually enshrined in the Constitution. But why is it not feasible in reality?
The truth is that the government, PDP could not do it. APC in the last 7 years they could not do it because they are not serious about it. Whatever they want.
However, our president has been very, very vocal about having granting the local government full financial autonomy.
Now, what are we saying? The National Assembly is not supporting them. If they have been supportive, to me it's very simple. Is it not to pay them directly? But who do they pay to? Do they have a chairman? Are they substantial chairman in this local government? So the governors, they make sure that there are no governors. There's no recognizable governors. I mean, chairman in the local government. So what they can do, because it is the grassroots that development should come from.
Yes.
If the local governments are strengthened, do you get it now? People will remain in their local governments, in the grassroots. There won't be need for them to go to the city.
Yes.
So we're having problem with migration, with rural-urban migration. And it is telling on the cities because all the governors, what they are doing is that they are making the money, they are taking the money for urban projects. You see most of the governors, they are saying they are doing roads, they are doing bridges and all of that. We are only seeing physical building structures, physical infrastructure.
Yes. But what we impacted on the lives of those.
For example, assuming that in each state they have built like low cost housing. in local governments. Every local government has, substantial number of mini estates, low-cost housing in local, all the local governments. Do you get it now? And then people are empowered in agriculture, in production, and all of that. What would they be doing in the urban areas? So, but they don't want this thing to work because they cajole people by saying they are doing projects. Which project are they even doing? We are not even seeing those projects as well. But they believe that is where those are the projects they can do and get money into their cover and be able to steal money. So the money should be shared, to people. Let the chairman, let's have subsidy. What I'm trying, I recommend to the federal government, National Assembly, is that as we are doing election of the House of Rep, what do you call it, state, federal, let us also, simultaneously be doing local government election.
Yes.
Until when we get it right like that, we know that we are doing this thing as they are campaigning for.
Unfortunately, it's the states that actually conduct local government.
That is why it's do you know why? Because in the a president governor, we want to go to Zenith or House of Rep because
want to have his people in local government.
So why will it work? The same governors that have messed up the state fund will now go and represent the state again in the national assembly. So how will it make it work?
However, the Nation newspaper actually broke it down to what sector got what. It says 13% derivation, 1.978 trillion. Paris Club refund, $2.67 billion. Ecological fund, 204 billion naira. COVID intervention, 50 billion naira. Federal roads repair, 648 billion naira. That is what each state got. Apart from this 13% derivation, I think it was just for the oil producing states of the federation. And recently, the Rivers State Governor, Nyesom Wike, actually stated the honestness when he declared that since 1999, President Muhammad Buhari, under this present administration, actually released their full emoluments to them, which they didn't have before. And it has continued to generate controversy. Why some states came out, that is states from the oil producing states, some denied, some are saying, oh, they didn't get the full amount. So what is your take on that?
I think that statement was political because ordinarily, if he doesn't have issue internally with its party, he wouldn't have said that. They are always at opposition. Whatever they say, it's always against one another. Yes. But for him to come out and say that, yes, it may be true, but he wouldn't have said that if all is well with him and his party. So I see it as a political statement. And
okay, even though you see it as a political statement, are you saying that it was not true? Was it true or not?
Well, we cannot say it is true or not because they have the figure. We don't have the figure. It's what they tell you. It's what they give to us that we know. Do you get that? We don't have
we saw the deputy, that is the vice presidential candidate of PDP, who is that is the Delta State Governor, Ifeanyi Okowa, saying that he didn't get the full amount that he got.
Okay, the one he got, how much did he get? You tell us how much he has gotten now. Do you get it now? So if you look at this figure, I'm seeing the COVID intervention, the amount, federal government road repairs, and I have not seen any road anywhere that has been properly repaired. Ecological fund, what are they using for? All these things are not, all these funds, billions of naira, all these are not translating
looted.
To the light, they are looted.
And the states are replied federal government that they are trying to reduce poverty. Were it not for the National Bureau of Statistics, which says that Nigerians' poverty, about 133 million Nigerians are living in poverty. Obviously, most of the state government would have said that they have reduced poverty in their domain.
I think it is obvious. It's obvious that it's no. Every governor. I don't know your state. I know my state.
Yes, I know my state.
But all the state let's ask everybody should ask this governor, the past governors, the present governors, what have they done? What have they done to the betterment of life of people?
From an estimated 200 million population,
the problem
said 133 million Nigerians are living in poverty.
And you see, anyway, may God just help us in this country because we are getting to the to the war, whereby when you put somebody to the war, people will fight back. So we just hope that all these all these abnormalities, all this their tyrant way of ruling us. They know there's a difference between ruling and leading the people. So all these things they are doing, I believe one day it will stop. The governors, they have become lords, and it's the people that allow them to do whatever they like. They do whatever they get away with that. So if we, as a people, we can rise up and ensure that we put the right people there. But unfortunately, maybe as a sort of lack of education, poor education, poverty, and all of that, people keep following them, blindly. They have these people in the government. They have all what it takes, to subdue people, not to think straight. Somebody that cannot eat even one meal per day, and somebody promises 5,000, so he was giving 1,000. You see people on campaign ground.
Yes.
You look at the flood of people. You begin to wonder, are they not working? Because people are jobless, and that is why you see people, around them. Ordinarily, Nigeria should grow up and see that we don't follow these politicians, all about. But as a result of poverty, so we believe that this transition will produce a better candidate. Now everybody has seen that it's not about one man or a party. They are all the same. Like my own position right from time, I don't believe in any. I repeat, any of this, because we know they are antecedents.
But we definitely have to have one of them at least as a
whoever that believes in the youth,
at most.
Whoever that believes in the youth. When we say youth, people of 40 years old, 40 years, 45, that's what I believe. If you are above 50, 55, I don't, personally, I don't, because you don't have the energy. This is a global world. Do you get it now? You can't be giving us, dishing out the same idea, the same ideology you've had in the past. Yes. I can't imagine if my father at over 70 now still want to contribute something reasonable. Ordinarily, these people are supposed to retire back to their villages, whether APC aspirant, whether PDP aspirant, whether Labour Party aspirant. I've not seen anyone, as the rightful candidate. But until when we see, but like you mentioned, we have to look out of many and see which one is better.
Because definitely one has to be at the president.
Maybe I've not seen anyway, but I hope maybe before the election I will see one.
Okay. Well, we are moving over to the last paper we have on our menu, and that is the Punch newspaper. What is the Punch punching with today, Friday? It says federal allocation is still on allocation saga. Federal allocations, oil producing states borrow 1.3 trillion naira amid 6.4 trillion naira windfall. Federal allocations, oil producing states borrow 1.3 trillion naira amid 6.4 trillion naira windfall. Pandef orders ask Niger Delta governors to showcase development projects. Oil producing states received 1.9 trillion naira as derivation fund under Buhari minister. 13% derivation includes DESPADEC funds, money judiciously spent, says Delta.
That's a good analysis.
We just also ask the same question.
It's a good analysis from the government. Now, what you begin to ask, why are these revelation at this point in time?
Borrow 1.3 trillion naira after receiving their
normal
6.4 trillion naira.
So they borrowed them. What did they borrow the money
for?
Now you go to each of these states in the Niger Delta or producing states. Now look at the level of development. Unfortunately, the money that belongs to the people.
We have Ondo, we have Imo.
I think Kogi is part of it.
Okay, no, it has not started receiving.
Okay,
that is why I refer to them as oil producing states, not Niger Delta.
Not Niger.
If you have Niger Delta, you just have the South state.
Yeah, but Kogi has been one of the oil producing that has been confirmed.
I thought they have issues with.
It has been confirmed as one of the oil producing.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a few weeks ago.
Okay.
Now, the money they borrowed, what for? Now let's now go to each of the states and see the capital development and human development. Do you get it now?
Yes.
We celebrate much more of capital development to human development.
Yes.
What in every state, like unfortunately in the Niger Delta, our oil producing states, do you get it now? When you go there, you see that they are the most,
impoverished.
Thank you very much. They are the most impoverished set of people.
Yes.
They don't have good road. They don't have good water system. They don't have. So I will begin to worry. What are their leaders using the money for? They have NDDC.
Yes.
You only
have
see
amnesty program.
amnesty
too.
program. You only see one big tower.
You also have a Ministry of Niger Delta.
Ministry of Niger. Can you imagine? Ministry of Niger Delta, NDDC.
NDDC.
What else did you mention now?
All amnesty program.
All
Although that one is for militants.
Now, with all the money that have been allocated to them, borrowed quote and unquote, and all of that, you now evaluate it with the level of development in the Niger Delta.
Yes, and the federal government could have also have, as we just mentioned, this agency, the federal government would have also have gone the extra mile, because there was an audit report that was carried out on the NDDC, and up till now has not seen the light of the day. The federal government would have gone the mile to say, oh, look at what was uncovered in NDDC.
You see, this government
that is moving forward. It's not enough to constitute a governing board, but it's lessons should ought to be learned.
This government, I think that is one of the things that.
Why do we always have cover ups?
Yeah, I say this government is a lazy, very lazy government. I want to believe that it has been the most, government that has released that number of has been agreed by some governors. Do you get it now? And based on the analysis we are seeing here, but what about appraisal, assessment, supervision, and monitoring? Yes. You see that this government basically lacks monitoring. They only give us the figure at the end of the day.
Yes.
Security, do they assess their security architecture? Yes. Over time, the money being released, are they monitored? Unlike, kudos to former President Obasanjo. You constituted EFCC, ICPC. These agencies were made, to do a check and balancing, to monitor these people. And we saw that a lot of people were dealt with that time. Even the so-called the IG.
Yes, some governors. We have later, Lamesia.
We saw some of us saw it as being a chanting. Now, this government, how many of them has they dealt with? So you can see the difference. When you release some money, when you have security architecture, you have financial, whatever, it has to be monitored. And you have to institutionalize, what do you call it? The security and the evaluator at one point in time and say, okay, let's see what we have been able to achieve with the money. They are not doing it. The President Muhammadu Buhari has failed in that direction. He just released the money. And, being an old man, he's just sit down and be watching them. And at the end of the day, we'll not be giving us figures that this has been spent, this has spent. When you spend money, you monitor. Because we see government as an investment.
Yes. We're talking about this 13% derivation fund. We're talking about this Niger Delta State. The argument mostly put up by the government of the day is that, that is in this Niger Delta State, that their roads are so bad that it requires times 10 of what is normally required in the north to fix the roads. But you tell them this, but you have this, why you have this 13% derivation.
Yes.
And yet you are not doing the US. You keep with the excuses, you come up with the excuses that the roads are so bad, the terrain is really that bad that before you can construct a good quality road is over 10 times more than what is required in the north, and that's the weak excuse. So what actually should be put in place? You talked about check and balance, you talk about monitoring and evaluation to ensure that to checkmate the activities of this government, because going forward it's still going to be the same story again and again.
The issue is that the ICPC, EFCC, or other regulatory bodies are not doing their job. Yes. And as if there's a kind of connivance. It starts from when you not put the right peg in the right hole. So all of them that become a family, that it is who knows who. They are all cohort, they are all friends. So they have the power, they have the authority, they meet. They are the same cycle. Exactly. And that is why things cannot work. Whether ICPC, whether ESPC, INEC,
governors,
whether it's like there is one family. They are just a one family that they cannot control one another. So until when we see a government, that's why I'm saying whoever that is coming amongst these people, I'm not bothered, because I believe they are still them. So until when we see a fresh person who has a fresh idea, who has probably learned some certain expertise from the country and outside the country that is firm, and can control, that has some level of wisdom, agility, and all of that can control this country. That is when we can begin to see results. Do you get it now? Somebody that is well trained and well cultured, but when you put people that we know their antecedent, we know what they have done in their various communities and all of that, they still want to continue. It seems people
betray themselves in power.
You still same people that looking around them that will still dictate for them. I look at all these parties. I've never seen one that say, yes, me, I'm proud to. It's really unfortunately by this time, and somebody will now say, we are now rooting for this person because because we believe. That is the belief we had in the past. And see where we are. Empty promises on promises. They have started promising us again. We should not forget ourselves. These people have nothing to offer us. They are only coming to satisfy themselves, self-actualization. Yes, I'm not a president, and the people around them that work for them, and few people will be opportune, to be elevated when they come out.
So, but how do you hold the government or governors accountable, given the fact that even though these punch leading stories on oil producing state, we still have even Lagos with all its enormous resources and the revenue coming in yearly, still has so much huge debt on his name.
They are stealing the money. They keep the money among themselves. There are a lot of monies that are not in the bank. They are in the sack bag. Some of them, I know where they keep some of them in locked up apartments.
Like we saw in that Koigi.
Like we saw it, do you get it now? So these are the money they are using, to bribe people. So the law enforcement agency need to step up, at least by this time of when they need people. They should start exposing these people. How did they get this money? Because if somebody has not stolen money, as Nigeria politics is concerned, because it's a lot of money, billions of naira. For you to become a governor, it's billions of naira. So where did you see the money? You see some civil servants, how much is their salary, and you see what they are controlling. You see the big cars they are controlling. Yes. I mean, they are riding their houses they have.
As well in this FCT, you see that some level 8 of that they have almost of these high towers that you are seeing.
Until when a serious government comes on board and deal with everybody, you get it now.
Yes.
There are different strategies of dealing with people. Sometimes you can lay what do you call it? Like a trap, can set a trap. Yeah, you allow everybody to go to whatever they like. But once you step into the trap by yourself, you'll be caught. But are we doing that? So I'm hoping that we have a government that will give the law enforcement agency a free role, independence to operate. But the reverse is the case, because they are the one that will nominate, they are the one that will appoint, and these appointees in reverse, they are the one in the other way around, be working for them. That is why things are not. So we need a neutral person that doesn't know anybody. Our president said it belongs to everybody. It does not belong to
nobody.
So you can see that is not working. So we can see now that it's just an old man that's supposed to retire back to his village.
I know just what you pointed out. The main reason that they said for redesigning the Naira redesigning is because of what you just pointed out. So would you say that Naira redesigning is a blessing?
Yes, it's a good. It's a
now
good
most
one.
of them, they steal this money. That is why they go about to borrow money.
It's a good innovation. This same president has done it in the past when he was the head of state, and then we are hoping that this will work. To me, I give my thumbs up, to that, because it's a good one. So that all the monies they have kept, they will bring them, into the economy, and what we're expecting in the next 1 month.
But somebody said we hope they bring it out, because at the end they may just leave it to rot. Like
some will get rotten.
Some videos,
some will be rotten. That's no doubt about it, because once they cannot bring them out, and I believe some will still come out, and then so we expect that the economy will take a new shape. By January, if we design, it's a very good one. It's a very good one. It will help pharmacists at least to get some certain bits of this stolen money.
Okay. The FCC did say that some governors, at least 3 governors, were planning to pay cash to their workers.
So where did they see the money
This
from? Where did they see
they
the
have
money?
stashed it away, hoping that when they leave office, wow.
So where did they see the money for? And then if they have the cash to pay some people,
it was the money they had stashed away. Now that they cannot just take it to the bank to start.
So if I got it right, they can't take it to the bank already. Now they don't have the money in the banks. How much do they have in the bank already? It's a physical cash they have, so they'll be stranded now. Do you get it now? So that I say is a good one, and we hope that that will translate into a better life for common people.
We certainly hope so. Thank you so much for your thoughts on today's Inside Nigeria. Well, viewers, we've come to the end of today's program. Don't forget, same time, same station, next week Monday is another day. And here's wishing you a beautiful weekend. Sheriff Dean, thank you so much for your presence today. And I am winning for the good. But don't forget, security is a collective responsibility. Stay safe. Have a beautiful weekend. Bye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.